Alright guys, so today we are going to be building our front and back walls. We've already built the sides. Some of you have created windows, some of you have not. So we're going to build a front and back wall, and we're going to make a doorway in the front wall, okay? And a solid back wall. You could add a window into it later if you would like. So the first thing we're going to start out with is build our back wall, and then we'll copy it to the front and just adjust it a little bit, right? So let me delete this piece here because I do have this one that I was messing around with. So we want to build our bottom plate 2x4 first. So we'll get our rectangle tool. You can click right here, or you can just tap R, which I will be doing throughout the video. You drag and you unclick. Once you unclick, you'll see the measurements down here. Now it says 6 feet by 10 inches, so I know that measurement is going this way. 3 inches, right? A little over 3, almost 3.5 inches right there. So that measurement's going this way. So before I've clicked anything again, I just dragged and let up on my finger. I'm just going to put 8 feet. You can see it changing down at the bottom in blue, comma, because we want to make it 8 feet long and we'll adjust it later, comma, 3.5 inches. And then I'm going to hit enter. All right. Then I'll get my push-pull tool, this one right here you're well aware of. You can click that or tap the P button and just push-pull it up. So I just click, pull it up, unclick, or release the click, and then I'm going to tap 1.5 inches, enter. And I've created my 2x4, right? That will be my bottom plate. Now the next thing I want to do is triple click on it to where it's all lit up in blue with the blue dots, and click make group. Once it's a group, I can move it as one piece and it won't warp itself. Now I can also click in to edit the group. You have to click into the group, so you double click to go into the group to edit it. Click my push pull tool, and I will simply push pull this or trim it back to my outside wall. I'll click out, so now I have everything, and I'll want to paint that now. So I'll grab my painting bucket. Well, first thing actually, you can get your select tool or tap the space bar, click on the actual group, grab your paint bucket or just come over here, grab your paint color and paint it. Now I have my bottom plate completed. So the next thing I want to do now that I've painted that is I do want to have it lit up in blue like this, so it's still selected. If it's not, then you just click on it one time. And I'm going to move this up, so give you a little bit of an angle. So it looks a little farther away, but if I tap M or I get my move tool and I grab that bottom corner, I want to just grab the bottom corner, tap the control button because that makes a copy, right? And I want to drag it up to this bottom corner of the top plate right here. So now I've copied my bottom plate and I've made it into my top plate. That's done now. I have my bottom plate, my top plate. Now I just need to do the studs in between. So let's build our first stud. So I want to get my rectangle tool. I will tap the R button to do the hotkey. I'll drag it out, and as you can see, I release my click, and it says 1 3/8 inch by 3.5 inches. So I know that 3.5 inches is longer, so that's going that way. So I want to do that measurement last. So I'm going to do 1.5 inches. I'm going to type that in, comma, 3.5 inches, and there I have that. Now I will just get my push-pull tool. I will pull it up and tap 8 feet and enter. Now it will jump up to 8 feet. So following that, I'm going to have to adjust it and trim it a little bit just like I did before on my bottom plate. So I'll have to do that with this stud. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make it into a group, triple click it, right click on it, and make group. Once you've done that, again, you can edit it and trim it down perfectly square. So I'll double click into the group so I can edit it, tap my push pull tool and drag it down to that line right there. Now I have a perfect stud measurement, right? So before I move on much farther, I want to click it so it's selected, grab my paint bucket, make sure that same wood color is on it, click it, and now I have a painted stud. We'll minimize that screen. So now I want to copy this stud. So I'm going to come over here. If the stud is not selected like this, just click it one time, grab your move tool. Again, you can click that, or you can just tap the M key. You'll grab the outside corner, and when you grab it and you click down on that corner, tap control button, and that's what makes a copy. Once you start to drag, you see how it's making that red line, it's dragging it on the line. That's keeping it online because I'm just doing it really slowly. I just let up the click and I want to make it 16 inches. So I'll type in 16 because I let off the click without clicking again. Inches, enter. So I did that, and the 16 at the bottom is still lit up in blue, and I haven't clicked on the mouse again. So without clicking on the mouse again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type 5 star, which means 5 times, and it's going to copycat that last thing I just did, which was the copy at 16 inches on center. I click enter, and it's now created another 5 studs, just like I had created based off that first measurement. So before we're done with this wall, we do want to put a stud right here in the corner. And what we'll do for that is, again, we'll just click on this stud, right? And I clicked a little too early, so let's Control Z and make sure everything's back to where it was. Click on it so it's selected, grab my movement tool, and I'll grab the outside corner right here, tap the Control button, and it creates a copy, and I'll just drag it over to that inside corner. Now, when you grab a corner, it will naturally pull to another corner if you take the mouse to that corner. So that's why it fits in so perfectly right there, right? So now I have my wall. Grab my hand, drag myself up. You can see I created that entire wall just now, right? So what we're gonna do is we will select each part. If you hold down the Control button while selecting, it will keep everything selected that you're clicking on. So just click on the wall we just created, nothing else, just that wall. Just the studs, the bottom plate, and the top plate. Once you do that, right click on it, make group, and now our wall has been created into one group. So we can move that entire wall in just one movement. So what we'll do there is we'll come over here, delete this little piece in our way, and I'm going to grab this wall and I'm going to drag it over here. So I'm going to grab my movement tool. Okay, I'm going to grab the outside corner of it right there, and I'm going to drag it, tap the Control button, you'll see it duplicate, right? Tap the Control button while you're doing this, and I'll take it to this corner, and it lines up perfectly because I'm dragging corner to corner. Okay, now I'm going to rotate back to that first wall that we created. Make sure I click off of, just click into the green, so that I do not have anything else selected, and I want to put the outside cover on my wall. Now you could do a 4x8 sheet of plywood, but in SketchUp that's going to make a line right there in the middle, not make it good, look that great. So just create one solid covering. So get your rectangle tool, that one right there, right? Or just tap the R, come to the corner right here, and just draw. Once you come over here, on mine is the green axis, yours might end up being on the red axis depending on how you built yours on the axis that we see. And you just click it and pull it out. Now what I want to do now is get my push-pull tool. It doesn't matter how big the square is that you initially make, right? And I want to pull out and then type in 0.5 inches. So that's a ½ inch right there, right? 0.5. Enter. And it's going to reset itself. Now I made this little piece of wall covering. Not all the way, and you'll see why. Because it's going to be really easy to pull it out. Okay? But the first thing I need to do is make it into a group. Right? So I'm going to triple click it, right click, make group. Now that it's a group, I need to click into it to edit it. So everything else will kind of go a little off, and it will be the only thing lit up. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that the bottom is the same length to the bottom as my other outside. So I'll get my push-pull tool, click on that bottom piece, and I'll drag it down. And if you see, I come to this line and it automatically stops my push-pull at that line. That's going to be the trick that we're doing to move these around. So I will angle myself a little bit over here. I'm going to pull it to this line right here. So I'm going to click right here now because I'm still in edit mode for that group that I had created. I'm going to push-pull this out to this line. Okay. You could pull it out to this line too, this outside one if you want. See how it says on edge outside active? You click on that. Now it's covered to the entire bottom, and I haven't had to do any measurements now. So I'll just click on this one right here, and I will push-pull it up to the top. And see how it says that same? Because I pulled my mouse to the top of that top plate. And so it's using that as like a marker. I'll click it. Now once I click out, you can see I've created that whole outside wall. So now I've enclosed that wall. So let's create our door. Now, let's make our door about 7 feet tall. You can change it. Doors can come in different shapes and sizes. There are standard door sizes, but this is a shed, so you can kind of make it what you want. So the first thing I want to do is I want to measure about 7 feet up. So I'll get my measuring tape right here. You can click the measuring tape, or you can simply tap the T key. I'll click on this bottom corner of my stud. Don't go all the way to the bottom plate, but just the stud, and measure up, keep it right on that line, and then type in 7 feet and enter. You see how it kind of disappeared? Well, it didn't fully disappear, because now if I go up, it gave me this nice little marker right here. So what I want to do with this marker now is I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, because we're going to make another 2x4, right? And I'm going to drag and I'm going to click it out right here. You see how it's on the red axis? Now, if you'll notice it, and I dragged it out, I unclicked, I haven't clicked again, and you'll notice it says 1.5 by 3.5 inches. So I actually clicked it perfectly to the size of the 2x4. If you didn't, this just tells you, okay, the shorter distance, you know it's this way, up and down. So you do the 1.5 inches, comma, 3.5 inches, and you won't see mine change because it's the exact same size, but if yours was different, it would change. Once you do that, get your push-pull tool, pull it out, and again, you haven't clicked yet. You only click to pull it out, and then you unclick. And I'm just gonna set it at 30, let's go with 42 inches for our door frame, okay? And click enter. Now it's made this header, this is what we're gonna use as a header right here, so we need to make this into a group. Okay, so we'll triple click on it, right click, make group. Once we've done that, go ahead and paint that header so you don't have to come back and paint it later. Okay, so we've done this, now it's kind of a floating header. What we need to do is move the studs around so that they will be next to the header and supporting the header. Okay, so first thing I want to do is click on this stud right here. Okay. I'm going to click into this group to edit it. I'm going to click on this stud. I'm going to get my movement tool. I'm going to grab in the upper corner. I'm going to tap control because now I'm copying that stud. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it right in there on that red line. I'm going to move it to where it meets my header. So now if I clicked out, you could see I've added a stud in that group. So the next thing I want to do is click onto this stud, and I want to not only click into the group, so here, not in the group to edit. Now I've double clicked, I'm in this group to edit, but I want to edit this piece individually, so I'm going to double click into that piece, and now even that group got faded out, and I'm editing this one. So you'll simply draw a line here at the top on the X to the X, bam. You know it worked when that no longer has dots and this does. You do another one right here, right there. Now you'll know you did it correctly when you can click here and it's blue dots. You click here and this gets blue dots. You click here and this gets blue dots. We're going to do the same thing to this stud right here. Okay, so we're going to get our line tool. Oh, we need to make sure we're in the edit mode. It has to have the dots on it to be able to edit it correctly. There you go. And we'll draw another line right here. We know we did it correctly when we can select any of those. So what we're going to do now is this header, okay, we're going to simply move it up 4 inches. Okay, just move it up just a bit because now we've drawn our lines on here. So we'll click into this one again to edit it, grab our push-pull tool because we created those lines and now this is only lit up in the blue dots, and we will simply push it away. Okay, it says offset to 3.5 inches. Perfect, that's what I want. Now, sometimes that doesn't always get rid of it all the way, and you might play with it a little bit back and forth. That's all right, okay? You can mess with it however you want. Try and offset it. Sometimes you'll get it perfect where everything will disappear. Sometimes it won't. But you're creating those lines, okay? So now you want to click on these lines and delete them because you want to make this all 2 separate groups. Okay? So you do the same thing in this one. So you grab push-pull tool and you will push it away. Once you've done that, simply delete these lines. There you go. Triple click on it, right click on it, and explode it. That makes it no longer a group. Click on this one, double click, make it its own group. Now you can move that one over to the wall. You do the same to this one. Explode, and make it group. So the time's about to end, and we will continue this